already have lithium-ion batteries, and I've just bought a couple more to add to the kit I've already got. Now, I want to take this out for the first time. Okay, so we've got the jigsaw. It looks very nice. It's very weighty. There's a nice weight to it. Everything looks like it's properly made. There's always that fear when you buy something new that you haven't tested before that it may not live up to expectation, but that certainly does look like it's got a decent weight to it. It's got a good base plate for the sort of work that I do, mainly scribing on fitted furniture. So what else we have in the box? We have some spare blades and I guess the plate for anti-splintering. And taking a quick look at it, it has, I guess, a key to adjust the base plate, which is impossibly tight. And it simply pulls back and adjusts and locates forward to get to 90 degrees. So as you can see, you pull it back and it adjusts through the angles, and if you push it forward, it locates at 90 degrees, just like the DeWalt which I have at the minute. Now the DeWalt I have is a 240 machine, and the reason I've gone for the Bosch is they're working on sites which require 110 volt. Now I didn't want to get another corded machine, I wanted to get something which I could also use where power isn't. There's no point getting, I couldn't see the point in getting two machines that were both corded. I thought I might as well have one that had an extra function for me. I looked at many machines, mainly having Festool equipment. I wanted to get the Festool and absolutely fell in love with it. The main problem being, this doesn't want to locate. The main problem with the Festool being, you can't angle the base plate like you can with every other jigsaw. They have removable interfaces, removable, transferable bases. One that does adjust for angles, but not for scribing. Now, for me, scribing is 99.9% of my work. So, of course, I had to get something that could scribe. So this is a bit of an experiment for me. Nice positive lock with the batteries, and we have a lock there, I guess, for left and right-handed use. Oh no, that's a lock, and that's unlocked. I see. Okay, so that's locked. You can't work it. You push it forward, and it operates. Nice electronic brake. That was another thing that I really liked when I read the reviews about this machine, was the electronic brake on it. And of course, when you turn the machine on, you can hold the trigger before it operates. It's like a positive little point where the light comes on, which should be quite handy to use. Now, of course, another really good feature most jigsaws have nowadays is the quick release blade lock. If I use one of these blades, now I mainly use only Festool blades. Well, in fact, the only blades I use are Festool. I do have the odd downcut Bosch blade, but almost all of my blades are Festool, which I find very good. I mean, half the battle with a jigsaw is the quality of the blade, and I do replace them on a very regular basis. So I guess push this forward, and it's in the wrong place, so I guess push, that bar needs to be down. Again, release the, it still doesn't seem to want to work. Maybe pull it back again. This seems a bit fiddly. There's a little bit fiddly. Does seem a bit trickier to do than my DeWalt. For some reason I can't get this in. And there we go. It's probably one of those things that with a little bit of practice, as silly as it sounds, you get used to it. I've used a jigsaw for years and years, but yet that was surprisingly tricky. Yes, okay, so what I'm probably going to do is test it, test the scribe cut. So if I grab a piece of timber and just with a pencil mark a scribe line, hope you can see that. Now obviously, as I said before, most of my scribing is done at an angle. Now this does seem a real pain to get out. Hopefully, I guess with a bit of time it will loosen, hopefully not loosen to the point where it falls out. for me, one of the major disadvantages of this was having to use an Allen key every time to change the angle of the base. But from what I could see, this was, overall the best jigsaw for me. I mean, it's annoying, but it's not really the end of the world. As opposed to, on the DeWalt, you have a locking lever which you unlock, the base tilts, and it's really simple and easy. But hopefully, maybe by the time they do the next model, they will, have changed that. Now, I'm assuming that pushing the lever down increases the pendulum. Let's have a look. No pendulum. No. Doesn't seem to have a pendulum at all. Oh no, that is a pendulum. Okay. It wasn't very obvious. Like the DeWalt, there seems to be a far deeper stroke on the pendulum. So that's no pendulum, being 0, and that's full pendulum. Again, the idea of this video was for me to use it for the first time so you could just see exactly what my thoughts were on the machine, as opposed to me knowing the machine inside out before this video. Okay, so I'm going to try and follow the scribe line. Something which I'm finding annoying, being left-handed, is at that angle the air is being blown into my eyes, which really is quite annoying. So standing with your eyes in line with the blade seems to eliminate that. As soon as you go a little bit behind, these fins seem to blow the dust straight into your eyes. Bearing in mind we are working on pre-veneered MDF, that has given us a lovely cut that would very easily dust off. And again, we're using an upcut cutter. We lock the blade. We're using a cutter which cuts on the upstroke as opposed to a downstroke. So that's a fantastic cut. It just seems to be quite a pleasurable machine to use. It feels right. It doesn't feel like it's fighting or working against you. It just feels very nice. And the other thing I did like about this machine is that when you compare the size of this jigsaw to the corded Bosch machines, it's smaller, it's more compact in size. Now I'm going to grab my DeWalt if it's in here and have a quick look. This jigsaw I really do love, and I've used for years, and I've fitted some very expensive furniture with, and have never had a problem with it ever. As I say, the only reason I'm buying another machine is because I needed to upgrade to 110 volt. So again, I said the idea was to buy a battery machine which had more uses than a corded machine, or different uses. So just comparison size wise, if I take the base plate again, that is really quite tight. I think some sort of different system with that would be very much appreciated, Bosch. Or hopefully just eliminating that altogether and using a lever to unlock the base plate. Now size wise, if I unlock the blade lock does seem to be relatively good, but the DeWalt certainly has a better blade locking system. Now height wise, the Bosch slightly lower in the handle, which is good. The lower we can get the better. The reason I chose the D handle as opposed to the body grip Bosch was because the body grip had the battery sitting at around this height, which meant we couldn't get any extraction at all. So I bought this one hoping that I could fit an extraction point, which unfortunately for some strange reason it doesn't come with. I would have thought nowadays that would be almost a health and safety requirement for them to provide a dust port with it. I mean, I use dust extraction on every machine without fail, so that's quite frustrating, but I will have a look on eBay. I'll see if I can find one or see if anyone else has had the same issue. Again, positive with this is it has a light. The DeWalt has no light. Even on the new machines, this is only maybe 6-7 years old, the new machines don't have a light either. But again, far better system for unlocking the blade. This is okay, it does the job. It's a little bit fiddly, a little bit irritating, I might get used to it. Picture on the pendulum, silly as it sounds, that clearly states that 3 has a deeper pendulum action. This doesn't, have 0 or not at all, and I'm assuming, and have now figured out that 0 means no pendulum. The DeWalt, this is one of my favourite features of the DeWalt, is the base lock, which is not working. There we are. It's just nice and simple, it works very, very well. Unlock it, push it forward, and away you go. And when I'm scribing, if I'm scribing from 2 ends of a piece, I'm using that quite often. So very, very good machine. I love this machine very much, and I will still be using it all the time, especially in the workshop. But this, purely for voltage reasons, will be my tool of choice in the van. And it's a very nice machine. It's very pleasurable to use. So yes, pros with the Bosch, the electronic brake for stopping. It's a nice compact machine. It just has a nice weight and a nice feel to it. It feels very positive. Cons, a little bit fiddly with the blade change. Base, obviously you could do with the lever, but hopefully something they will sort in the next machine. And the tool, that's very, very good. Hopefully something which DeWalt will bring out in their newer machines. So hopefully this review has been helpful to you. I know for me, choosing a jigsaw has been very, very difficult. I've spent many months, maybe 2 or 3 months, trying to decide which to get. Went for the Bosch, and yes, I'm very, very impressed. Very impressed. On the whole, I would buy it again in a heartbeat. So, would strongly recommend this machine.